Between the sluggish movement and underpowered hardware, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown might have just lost my interest. Let me explain. Okay, so it didn't completely lose my interest, but I will say I went into this demo very excited, and after they first revealed their trailer during Summer Games Fest, and it got a lot of backlash due to the fact that not only the music that went with the trailer was so off-putting to what they were showing, but also a lot of people were disappointed that this was a 2D game. We haven't seen a mainline Prince of Persia game since 2010 when they put out an exclusive for the Wii. So of course, with all this time that has passed, you would imagine maybe we're about to get a reboot, but no, we got a 2D game, but I will say, I was excited because I thought it looked pretty cool. Now I did play this demo 2 times because they only give you 10 minutes with the demo, and I felt like I needed a bit more time to really give it the judgment to see what I thought about it. All right, first, let's talk about the visuals. Now, me personally, I like the art direction that they went with, being like a cel-shaded, almost anime-looking type style. While it is just a 2D game, it does kind of give that depth, as you can see from the background that looks beautiful. Not only from the level design, but you have a lot of things going on behind you that almost looks like kind of like an oil painting, which I think once again kind of plays into the art style that they're going for. And the animations looked really clean as well. The way that he would run, jump, and dash, it all really felt smooth, as you could tell that this game was running at 60 frames per second, as they've stated that they will hit that with every console that this comes out on. So while the frame rate was good, I did think it was an odd choice, the fact that they decided to have us demo this game on a Nintendo Switch. I feel like I didn't get to play this game at its best. I really didn't get to see it in the best light, because I know where I would play this game in my game room, I'm gonna be playing it on my PS5 or Xbox Series X, so I'm hoping that we're gonna see some bigger upgrades in the actual fidelity of the visuals once it's on a better console.
Okay, right trigger.
So now let's talk about the most important thing, gameplay. The first thing I noticed is that he felt kind of heavy. That's where I did feel a little sluggish, and even just jumping from platform to platform, it just felt like it wasn't as smooth. Now granted, when he was going from wall to wall, that was going fast, but just the simple act of jumping across felt kind of slow, and I found myself constantly using the dash button. But when you were in combat, that's also where I feel like why they maybe slowed it down a little bit, like it was almost kind of going for like a Souls-like-ish type combat, that they really want you focused on parrying. It's not just a hack and slash. As I started to get to some higher up enemies that had more health and also were just harder to hit because they were constantly blocking, you had to parry, you had to get behind them, you had to be more methodical with your movement. You couldn't just run in and start slashing them with your swords. You had to make sure that something was happening there. So maybe that's why it was slower, but to me, it just felt sluggish. So I don't know if that's the route they were going for it, but I was wanting it to be a little bit more fast paced. But also too, within the combat, where normally in Prince of Persia games, you guys should be familiar with the reverse mechanic. In this one, it was a teleporting mechanic where you would press a button and then all of a sudden you would leave almost like a blue hue of your body where you just press the button, so then you could go do whatever you want to do fighting. Then once you click that button again, you would teleport right back to that area. So for me, like I said, 10 minutes with the game, I kind of found it pointless. I was like, I did it, I'm like, this is weird. I didn't want to do that because the first time I did it on accident. So not sure if that's going to be something that really comes into play, or if it's just something else that I don't understand why that design mechanic was made. So while I wasn't the biggest fan of the more slowed down combat, I will say anytime I was using my sword or my bow and arrow, that did feel good, even though the overall combat, like I said, I wanted it to be a little faster. At one point in the demo, it had you stop in this specific area where you got to not only select the amulet, which is pretty much like you just picking any skill perk that you want to do that helps you play the game more to the style that you want, but also it refilled your health and was a save point for the next time that you died. I did like the fact that you were able to select what skill you wanted to increase, as well as within these, it's always nice to have a respawn point that's not too far from potentially where you're about to die. Because I will say there was an area where I came across this one guy that was kicking my ass, and thankfully that respawn point where it filled my health wasn't too far away, as I got to visit it a couple times after I kept dying. Yeah. Now, I haven't fully given up on this game. I know I can come across like I'm being super negative, but that's because I love Prince of Persia so much, and I think I maybe had a little bit of high expectations. But I'm hoping on release, when I get to play it on an Xbox Series X or a PS5, the way that probably the developers want me to play it, that it's going to be an experience that I am wanting to see. But only time will tell, as that is coming out on January 18th of 2024. It is coming out at kind of a budget price, $50, $49.99, compared to a lot of games now being $70. So I think they know it is a smaller experience compared to some of the bigger ones. So, you know, I'm still gonna check it out, as I'm hoping that what I saw, that little tiny 10-minute slice, isn't everything that they have to offer. And those are my overall thoughts on Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Did it hit all the nostalgia I was wanting? Not really. But could it be something new that I'm gonna love? Only time will tell. Come January, I'll be playing the full release, and if you want to continue to stay up to date, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you haven't already, and time for me to get back to being a dad.